You're welcome here if you're she, he, we or they. You're welcome here if you're gay, straight or working it out. You're welcome here if you're in a relationship, single, divorced or widowed. You are welcome here if you're inked, pierced, both or neither.
You're welcome here if you're young.
Or young at heart.
You're welcome here if your neurons like to be typical or like to be spicy. You're welcome here if you're more Christian than Colin from Witch Hazel or haven't got the whole faith thing yet.
You are welcome here if you're living on a prayer or could use a prayer right now. You are welcome here if you've got it all sorted or if you've got doubts. You are welcome here.
As moon rises, the sun slips sight. Begins the ritual of this night. For those convinced their path is right. Gathered from north, south, east and west, yet called at another's behest, those treading the path that is left. From near and far come as you are to this place and embrace this space as darker hue embraces you. Of water, spirit, earth and fire, confessing the sins of empire, we come with our wounds and desire. Sensing that we are not alone, drawn to the flame that guides us home, for here you, me and yet to be. Importance and signs of these times, for the sake of all those maligned, is yet the home of the divine.
Hear the crowd as we roar. See the eagle it soars. Win and reign, refresh once more. From fear, hope redefined, we will not be denied. For are we yet alive? The threefold name it's all gone too. Shall we be downcast too? Or stand shield to shield, together in the field? We refuse to yield. Steadfastly holding the line, for love wins in eternity's time. We keep pressing forward until the last, and our crash shall be forever to certain.
I've shrunk. Hello? I'm in the dark. Why am I in the dark? Hello? 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 It's echoes. Oh! Hello. It's just like I've drunk that potion in Alice in Wonderland. That was fun. I'm going to do it again. Ah! Sorry. Anyway, hello. How are you all? Blah, 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 blah. Evening Retro. Hello, Rachel. Howdy, Piggy. If you are joining us for the first time, you are welcome here. However, whoever you are. If you want to join in, just whack us a post on Facebook or YouTube. It'd be good to know stuff that's been cool for you this last week. So with Retro today off, excellent. Back to work on Tuesday, so long weekend. Nice. Okay. Excellent. Tears for Fears reference. Nice. Excellent. I'm not very good at gardening, let alone growing. But so fair play. We salute you. That's excellent. No, that's cool, man. That's cool. Yeah. I don't know about you, but sometimes just things being all right is enough. Yeah, that's cool. That's really cool to hear, man. Anyway, Rachel, hope you're all right. I'm just doing tusen tax because it's thank you, but in Norse, therefore it's more Viking, therefore it's more metal. Is Wi-Fi problems in Derbyshire? Boo. It's because you're in the is that in the posh bit down south of Derbyshire. And mine's actually all right. It's only a bit ropey about this time of day. Maybe it's because kids have been off to school, not just like going home from school and people getting home from work because the holidays have started. Well, it's certainly in Derbyshire. This started last week in Sheffield. Maybe they started where you are. Maybe it doesn't affect you at all, apart from noticing changes in internet, traffic. Who knows? But thank you, lovely people, for sharing what this day has made you say. Chosen-tag. But maybe things have sucked too. We were having issues with the Hoover. That was not sucking. That was sucking, but it wasn't sucking. Maybe things have been heavy for you or are heavy for you, not in a cool metal way. A chance to share anything of that, if that's helpful to you. Public stream, so respect your own privacy and that of others. But if there's, just if you want to share, that's just getting it out of you. And maybe you're able to get more perspective on it because you shared it, or it's not in here or in here. If that's helpful, please do. As we join in with these words.
The principalities and will to power, the worms from within my own darkest hour. I confess all the regrets and the regrets, the burdens and fears, the lament and the tears. I lay them down.
And as we do, I believe that the universal force of love and hope and welcome comes really out to meet us in arms open wide, in the person of Jesus, the original long-headed bearded dude from Nazareth, saying, "Come to me, all you who who are weary and heavy laden, even if you do not like Iron Maiden. But why would you not? And I will give you rest. May rest, peace, wholeness, whatever, may it be yours in this moment. Cool. Choose to Rachel for days out of naps. Nice one. Was that did one follow the other? Was the nap a result of a full-on family day out? I tried to have a nap and failed this afternoon. A bit wiped out. I don't know why. Well, flat tires mainly. Well, it's like your proper Derbyshire. We're just kind of like the bit that Sheffield didn't want. I forgot to do my cheese attack, which was for the in-person meetup last week and meeting people that have been on stream and commenting and being part of the community, including Gareth and Sue. And so Gareth on our Facebook page, Gareth's missive, so he writes that, and that's awesome. So yeah, it's really good to physically meet people as well as being together, because I'm not saying one is less real than the other at all. In fact, the opposite. I hope they're both, we are community however we gather, right? So but it's really good to be with people and meet new people, and people who have come for the first time and did the in-person thing. So that's really cool. And now a reading from the Bible. What is metal? So metal it is made of paper. The metal Bible. As yet again, I failed to get this ready in advance. So this is me, blah, 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 looking for there it is. This is from Methodist.org.uk, the daily Bible reading for this day, Friday the 24th of July. I'm sorry, no, I don't mean July, I mean July, sorry. This is from the good news about that Jesus dude, according to John, 48 to 59, where it saith this. Pause while internet works. Oh gosh, Isabel, those internet problems are coming further north. So the religious kind of elite and rulers and the people who thought they knew best said, "Are we not right in saying that you are a Samaritan and have a demon?" Jesus answered, "I do not have a demon, but thanks for asking. But I honor my Father, and you dishonor me." Boom! I fat in your general direction. Yet I do not seek my own glory. There is one who seeks it, and he is the judge. Very truly, I tell you, whoever keeps my word will never see death. Don't you forget about dying. Don't you forget about your friend death. I'm now going to sing the stupid death song from Horrible Histories. Anyway, will never see death. The religious rulers said, "Now we know that you have a demon. Abraham died, and so did the prophets, and yet you say, whoever keeps my word will not taste death." Well, I think Jesus said he won't see death. I mean, what is it, like all the senses today? Are you greater than our father Abraham, who said, sons? No, many sons had father Abraham. It doesn't have any of this bit in the Bible, I'm so sorry. Are you greater than Father Abraham? And he died. So, you're not greater than anybody. The prophets also died. So what you say? Who do you claim to be? Jesus answered, "If I glorify myself, my glory is nothing." Had he been in Yorkshire, he'd have said that. It is my Father who glorifies me. So in this context, Father is the way Jesus is referring to the all-parent, the Pantocrator, the universal force of love, one which word for which is God. He is of whom you say I've just explained it, and Jesus was explaining it anyway. I preempted our Lord. I'm so sorry. He is our God, though you do not know him, but I know him. If I were to say that I do not know him, I would be a liar like you. So there. But I do know him, and I keep his word. underlined there. Your ancestor Abraham rejoiced that he would see my day. He saw it and was glad. And then the leaders said to him, you are not yet 50 years old. And have you seen Abraham? What are you on about? What cheese have you been eating, Jesus? Jesus said to them, they didn't say that either. Very truly, I tell you, before Abraham was, I am. So they picked up stones to throw at him. People in stone houses shouldn't throw glass. So then they picked up stones to throw at him, but Jesus hid himself and went out of the temple. Whoa! What was all that about, man? I don't know. I'm going to look at what it says here in these hopefully produced Bible notes by Dr. Tom Lunt, who is a Methodist local preacher, a prison chaplain, and a lecturer, and he lives with his wife Liz in East, the home of the East Saxons. Anyway, so this is a conflict. Yep, definitely. So basically, the people in charge religiously are getting a bit fed up with Jesus because he's saying all this stuff and making them look a bit silly and challenging them as knowing best and knowing everything. So they're getting a bit cheesed off. So they're going to kind of like have a go at him and try and catch him out. And that's what's going on here. So yeah, harsh accusations. I mean, it might not sound it to go, oh, you are such a Samaritan. What? Do you mean I'm really caring and helpful? Because that's the story of the Good Samaritan. What? I offer 24-hour telephone and internet support for people going through difficult times who just need to speak to somebody. Unfortunately, in the first century, in this context, this is not what a Samaritan was, but it is where we get those are where we get the term Samaritan in a good sense. But Samaritan was kind of was somebody who was not of the Jewish faith, but had different ideas. So kind of worshipped the same God, but had different ideas about how and when and where that sort of worship and faith should happen. And so that we considered. So yeah, Jesus being called a Samaritan was like a massive. We're meant to be a massive put down, along with you've got a demon. No, it's just the way I'm standing. Yeah. So who then was seen as a group of outcasts who worship other gods. And also being possessed by a demon. So Jesus responds to say that he honors his Father, who is God. And then at the end, Jesus says, I am. So in the Old Testament, the Hebrew scripture, Moses encounters a strangely self-combusting bush. Not the 90s kind of UK grunge band. Just sat there with pyrotechnics going, hey, Moses. No, not them. But a bush that's on fire. Moses takes off his sandals because it's holy ground, and he's an encounter with God. He can't see God. Nobody sees God and survives. A bit like that thing in Indiana Jones and the Last Temple, or is it Raiders of the Lost Ark? Anyway, Raiders of the Lost Ark probably. Anyway, yeah. So, but also, Moses, who are you? Who are you? And the voice from the bush says, I am who I say I am. So Jesus saying, I am is kind of like, yeah, I am. God is I am, and it's an honor, a respect, an honor. You wouldn't name God; you would just I am. But also Jesus says I am, so I am with God because before time. And in John's Gospel, the whole thing starts, whereas the other Gospels start with Mary, Joseph, Mary pregnant. How'd that happen? We've got to go to Bethlehem. Christmas. Whereas John starts with, in the beginning was the Word was with God, and the Word was God. And Jesus saying, before Abraham, I am this Word of which I started my good news about. John started his good news about. And I am being a title for God. So, yes, okay. At this point, that is all far too much. Now you say, we think you're a Samaritan and you have a demon, and they're telling us you're God. And their response is to pick up stones to basically stone him to death. So that's essentially what's going on. I hope that was helpful, but at least interesting. There we go. But yeah, so people often think about Jesus, meek and mild. and actually, this is Jesus kind of standing his ground, being criticised, being put down, people saying horrible things, people threatening physical violence against him. In some cases, John Wesley, he of metal hair, who was one of the founders of the Methodist movement, when faced with people with stones, understandably ran away. Jesus hides, but he's not shying away from the conversation. So what is your approach to reading the Bible, whether it's a metal Bible or any other form of Bible, whether it's online, in a book, because it's a book? And do you get bits that you kind of go, A, I don't know what that means. B, that doesn't sound very nice. I thought this God thing was supposed to be nice. Well, what do I'm just going to skip over that. Is that what you do? How you try and make sense of it? Are the people that you speak to try and discuss it? Would speaking to people about it and talking about some of these passages, would that be a helpful thing? Is that the sort of thing we could do here? And so I guess people are so busy trying to put Jesus down, and they don't like what they're hearing, and it can't possibly be of their understanding of God. So therefore, they try to squish it, squash it, stone it. And maybe, just maybe, they are missing what God is doing. Have you ever had a situation where, at the time, you kind of missed that maybe it was a God thing? Maybe you've noticed that looking back, going, all these things. And somehow this is the situation, and maybe, just maybe, God is in all of that. Does that make any sense? Connect with anybody? I'd like to hear what you think. Sorry, I've been not looking at this screen, so I should now catch it with comments. Gareth! Hello. How amazing. Hope you're both all right. Well, this is cool. Thank you, Retro. The Bible stands for basic instructions before leaving the earth, I believe. Yeah, I think it is a kind of guide for life. And again, my understanding of the Bible is there are absolutely some things that are, helpful, useful. There's a lot of it as well that is of a time, reflecting a time. So it's, it's very easy to go, well, it said this. This therefore should absolutely be the case 200, 3,000 years later, without any kind of thinking about, well, why was that important then? And are we in a different situation now? Some of the stuff about what you can eat, what you can't eat, and Jesus kind of, in the New Testament with the apostles, that gets challenged a little bit. It's not about saying, well, not eating this, but eating this makes you a holy special person. Some of it was about kind of going, you live in a hot climate, eating this sort of stuff carries the risk that some of it might have gone off and make you poorly, especially when, as a sense of being, kind of chosen people, continuing that family line was really, really important. So there's all that sort of stuff going on as well, I think. But yeah, I think, certainly the stuff that Jesus has said, and I remember, I think I've shared this before, like chatting to somebody outside a pub following a funeral, and I'd taken the funeral, so he knew that was a vicar, and I was going, I totally get Jesus. I just don't get this like religion thing where you have to do this and you can't do that, and you have to. So yeah, so actually I think there are things, and I guess from the Christian faith that, Jesus is this kind of person with moral teaching, absolutely. And I guess when you read the Christian story and there's a death, and then there's the mystery of the empty tomb, then there's that kind of extra invitation of response, which is faith, that maybe what Jesus was saying, that passage we just went through, that just maybe Jesus wasn't a kind of slightly subversive person, annoying religious leaders and causing a potential uprising for Roman overlords to put down, a bit of a political agitator. Maybe, just maybe, what he was saying was true, that actually he was there since before the time of Abraham, that he was there in the beginning, and that he is, I am, just as a Hebrew way of referring to God would be to say, I am. Or God is, who God says God is. So I guess that's kind of our response. And I understand that some people that's a huge. I was going to say leap of faith, but I guess that's kind of the point. And maybe from that position of faith, it allows us to see the world, life, stuff in a different way, through a different lens. Don't run, walk. Hello, David. Hope you're right. I was catching up. So, reading the Bible to be like Shakespeare and confusing due to being an old style. Are there any Bibles written in a more modern, straightforward style? Excellent question. So, I would highly recommend if you go to a place called Bible Gateway. I think it's called that. I'm just going to type it in to the browser of my choice. Bible Getaway. No, that's trips to the Holy Land. Bible Gateway. Yes. BibleGateway.com. So Bible Gateway, all one word, .com. And basically, it is an online Bible. I think there's a phone version of it as well. And you can use all these different translations. So, thank you. This is cool. Yeah. So the message is good. And it's kind of more of a paraphrase. So it kind of gives you the meaning, but in language that is much more contemporary. Also, there's a street Bible that I think is only in print, and the person who did that is dead. So it's a bit hard to get hold of, but that is quite good as well. And I quite like the New Century Version, which I think is used in what they call youth Bibles, but I find that quite accessible. And this one, NLT, so the New Living Translation, and that is what the Metal Bible, the translation they use for the New Testament is New Living Translation, and you get much more about it conveys the feeling of it, if you see what I mean. So there's less furry language, and so generally I would if New Revised Standard Version, the King James Version, certainly the New Revised Standard Version attempts to be as accurate from the range of sources that it's drawing upon the different translations, and bits of archaeology have been found to try and piece together what in probabilities is close we think we might get to at this stage to what was originally said, but sometimes it can therefore read quite old and not the easiest. And absolutely, what a great example, what a great comparison, like reading Shakespeare, where Shakespeare's amazing. As somebody explains it to him, like, that's clever, that's amazing. But put me in front of the book or in front of the play, and what's going on? I had no idea what's going on. Once someone explains, I'm like, wow. But this is why, I guess is why churches exist, or this exists, or why, sadly, people still fall out with each other over matters of faith or whatever, because, you might discover some new archaeology. You might discover that actually been translating a word erroneously. A classic example is in the King James Version. I think it's King James, or it might be the Wycliffe, but it uses the word God created male and female, and went boom, have all the earth, have dominion over it. Thank you. Yes, YouVersion Bible app is just like Gateway. Yeah, so if you're on your phone and your tablet, absolutely that one. Thank you for asking. Bible, 'tis verily the book for thee. What does it say? It says dominion, and over time, the word dominion has probably come to mean, it's where we get dominate, to rule over. When it was first used, say if it's King James or that sort of era, dominion was trying to give you the vision of a beneficent ruler. So somebody who, yes, had responsibility and oversight, therefore care of for caretaking anything in a particular area of land or realm or kingdom or dominion, right? However, over time we've kind of gone dominion, great, dominate. Let's plunder it for all the good it's worth and forget to take care of it. And so actually, in some translation, that word is perhaps not used, because a better word today would be, in terms of what was originally meant by the word dominion, like a positive ruler, is somebody who takes care, a caretaker. So looking after. So yeah, it absolutely, it matters. I think what versions we use, and that we can read a word, but we read it. We're reading this stuff that's relating to thousands of years ago, and we're reading it in translations that have also gone through thousands of years of copying and going, is that the right word now in the sort of 16th century as we put together this King James? I'm not sure. And we're reading it now going, it just means this. And actually, the meaning we've had in English has changed over hundreds of years. So, absolutely sense checking it and checking it out and reading around. And certainly, I think YouVersion, but certainly Bible Gateway, you can get commentaries which kind of give you, how that word or that passage might have made sense to those who first heard it. Because a lot of this stuff, particularly in the New Testament, these stories were told to people and written down later on. So yeah, it's how did it sound? Jesus wandering around and somebody, 50, 100 years later, writing down this account of what was being passed on as what Jesus said or did. How did that make sense then? Is that culturally, contextually relevant story in such a different place that actually it's hard to kind of translate some of that stuff today and what might be the equivalent? So how do we try and make sense of it? So yeah, it's and I guess in terms of a faith thing, it is a lifetime's work, which I think, in terms of this side of heaven, that but then if you look at the overall story, though, it's a story of trees, the Ents, flashbacks to Tom Bombadil then. So it's a story of trees. So in the story of creation, one of the stories of creation, there is the Garden of Eden and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. So that kind of thing that actually makes us human beings like God, to know that these things are positive, these things are negative, and actually that's the one thing you don't eat, guys. Don't eat the fruit of that. But we want, and the fruit gets eaten and booted out of Eden. And so again, we've then had to rely on creation, and we've learned to dominate it for our own benefit, and that's the kind of the story into which come prophets who, as in that reading, have said, "I've all died," and then Jesus comes and goes, "Look, I just want to point the way back on this tree on Calvary, the cross that points heaven to earth and to each other as well." So tree in Eden, tree, cross. This points the way back to perhaps how the relationship between humanity and God was always meant to be. A tree in the book of Revelation that is for the leaves of the healing of the nations, and that heaven, God's home, is on the earth with people. And so it's kind of that overarching story is the Bible. So it's an overarching story, I think, of love, of humans thinking we know better, and God kind of just never giving up and just trying time and time again to say, just listen to me. Don't hurt each other. Try and love each other, and love me because I love you. Not me and you personally. I mean, God loves you. The Bible in 2 seconds. Sorry. So enjoy. Be interested to know, Retro, if you have a look at any of those, and if there's one that particularly go, okay, I quite like this makes sense. It'd be good to hear which one that is for you. And if people want to, check out metalbibleinternational.com, where you can get your Metal Bible. But again, that version, the New Living Translation NLT, is available on the YouVersion and on Bible Gateway. And in you can buy it in Waterstones, or certainly order it from Waterstones, and on everyone's favourite payer of taxes, Amazon. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right. Okay. So potentially, Rachel, ignore everything I've said and listen to what Rachel said. In the Parable of Mustard Seed, we get to be the tree. Ooh. Ooh. Oh. Oh, no. That's amazing. So I think I've shared a couple of times on here that I'm still grieving for the Major Oak. I forgot my other Tuesday tag was for a hoodie for my birthday that has a little Robin Hood hat and arrow on the front. On the back it says, "Steal from the poor, steal from no, don't do that. Steal from the rich, give to the poor." Or as Stephen Tyler and Eversmith said it, "Eat the rich." God loves rich people too. But this idea of the Major Oak, and they'd taken some seeds and saplings, and then there's a report that somebody had stolen the blessed things, and then somebody else told me that actually various anniversaries to do with Nottinghamshire, the Major Oak, 1,000 years, little cuttings have been given to people. So Dame Judy Dench has a minor oak growing in her garden, wherever that is, and other people do as well. So it lives on. And the reason that they left, they said they're going to leave it as it is, so that actually, nature takes its course. So in the meantime, it's going to go back to feed the earth, but it's going to continue to offer shelter and habitat to animals. And so, this tree that leads to the kind of break in our relationship with God and with each other in Eden, because of the way we use it, and this tree that Jesus dies on that connects us back to heaven and connects us back to each other, and the tree in the book of Revelation that is for the healing of all the nations, and a time when heaven is fully on earth and there is no more crying and no more dying. God wipes every tear from our eye. And yet, thank you, Rachel, in the parable of the mustard seed, we get to be the tree that actually, in our response, and you can do this, I'll be honest, you could do this without, being a person of faith. I think being a person of faith is a motivator. It helps you to aspire. You are connected to a community that encourages you and supports you when the going gets tough, when you kind of feel like you're banging your head against the wall of things that don't feel just, or things that feel uncaring and stuff. But actually, we too can do what those trees do, which is offer shelter and care for each other. We can offer welcome, we can offer safety, we can offer hospitality, we can enable people to feel nurtured and to grow and to be the amazing, flourishing, fruit-bearing person they're always meant to be, just full of love and peace and joy and kindness and gentleness, which means power and control. So knowing you're amazing, but knowing, therefore, how to use your greatness and your awesomeness so that you build other people up rather than squash them down. Trees everywhere. I see trees are green, and her sister too. Anyway, that's amazing. Thank you. That's what an excellent Bible study. That was cool. So actually as well, Retro and anybody else who's interested, he said trying to find his copy and failing. So in September, no, can't find it. We're going to embark on, oh dear, I could turn the camera on and show you the utter chaos either side of my desk, but I think you can probably imagine it. So a thing called On the Way. And that is basically a basics of Christian faith, but also talking about Methodism. So the thing developed as a movement by John Wesley in the 18th century. He came up with the phrase to be more vile, to kind of never mind being seen, in the right places, doing the right things with, because polite society says that's what you're supposed to do, that actually this is a message of love and hope and welcome and peace for all. So actually let's go to the places where no one else is taking that message. and let's find that message at work ahead of us, and let's share it together, even if it means touching, and which is what kind of John Wesley risked, whereas Jesus does it, and he gets you're a Samaritan and you've got a demon. Maybe he had a ghost t-shirt on. So if you're interested in doing that course, then we can do that. We're going to do, I think, we are. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. It's online, and it's a way of exploring. It's not about saying, you have to say, I'm a Christian now, or it's just exploring what faith means, and reflecting on it from your own lived experience. So there's no kind of like, you won't believe this. It's how does this make sense to you? Or the conversation we've had tonight, what does this word mean? Well, how do you do that? What about this? And so sharing our experiences together, and learning together. So hopefully, we are going to do that from September, as part of this stream as well. So tell your friends. I don't know. Be lovely to join together to do it. And again, we can reflect on it each week. So you're invited to kind of use whether it's song lyrics, album covers, music, gardening, the stuff that you enjoy. Use that to help you reflect on it. To go, it's kind of like this, and to share it with other people, to make connections that won't make I won't have thought of, because I shouldn't be allowed in gardens for the safety of the garden. Whereas finding horrendous music it might remind me of. I'm the person, on the way. Sounds like a great idea. Excellent. This is cool. Thank you, Gareth. So there is a journal, and if you are a journaling person, you will enjoy this. So I think the journals are $6.99. So you can do this. It's got things to think about each week. There's videos you can watch online. I'm going to show some of those videos here, and it's more than just about, like we're doing now for a Bible reading, just chatting together and sharing our views, but also sharing from the week that's been, films that kind of sparked our imagination because of what we were thinking about, or TV programs, or things in the news, or music, or things we saw while out and about. And if you like scrapbooking and sticking and all that sort of stuff, there's space to do loads of that. I hadn't noticed that I can't read months anymore. I panicked and I thought you said you can't spell moths anymore, and I'm going, oh no, we're getting invaded by moths. I fear moths. I hate moths. I am. Dude, I don't know if you saw, but like halfway, and when we were at St. Paul's last Saturday, halfway up, as you're looking at the front, on the right hand side, there was an ex moth that was about that big, like upside down. I'm like, oh, and I think it might have landed on somebody, and they've clearly gone, whoa. Anyway, it was no more, and I'm thinking, if that had been me, I would have had to run screaming from the building. It's got a demon. No, it's just a moth. Cool, excellent, cool. So a chance to explore it. So I'm one to do it. So I'm happy to do it together, because I want to do it. And where I am in the Sheffield circuit, I think we're going to do that as well as a group online, as well as in the on-site churches that I serve as well. So I'm sure if you are near a Methodist church, at some point, a Methodist church near to you may well be doing this. So it's very much, if you've done Alpha, it covers the same topics as Alpha does, but I think the approach is more about sharing our own experience and learning, rather than, I think, Alpha, and this isn't a criticism, Alpha gives you really handy, so this is what Christians believe and why, discuss. And so it's just a different approach, a different model of exploring and learning. So wasps. I do like a bee. I mean, what was his name? Thingy Lawless. Blackie Lawless? Am I making this up now? From Wasp. that, without wasp there is no striper. Well, yeah. So last Friday, it's another choose and tack. Just seeing the amount of bumblebees all over some lavender. Well, the lavender we used at the in-person event in St. Paul's was, I think, sparked because we'd seen some lavender at other churches where I was, and just bees all over it. And because I'd heard that bees were really struggling with the heat, and if I think we've established that bees are really important. So to see bumblebees thriving is fantastic. Thank you. Good. I have a moment there. I'm going, I've just made some random name up, haven't I? No, I haven't. Good. Excellent. Rough like an ninja, stinging like a wasp. My back is flapping like a moth. Although at the same time, in terms of it helps to look into the void. I do quite like the kind of the gothic imagery of a death's head moth. I had a notebook with that up, which is all right because the notebook was, when I was writing in it, I couldn't see it because it was flat. The cover was on there, and I could, it's fine. But I had to kind of cover it up. Anyway, that's got nothing to do with anything. A chance to offer our hopes and concerns for ourselves, for others, in a comment on YouTube or Twitter, if that's helpful to you, or just to kind of acknowledge them in your own head or in your mind or in your heart, wherever you kind of sense this stuff. Let's make our offering to the all-parent. I think on Saturday I introduced the concept of the way of referring to the all-parent would be the Pantocrator, the creator of all things, the source of all life and being, or sustainer of all life. Hence Pantocrator, the band being called Pantocrator. Let's make our offering.
To the one in whom all people and all creation have their being, may your kingdom come, your will be done, as above, so below. Sustain us for this day. Show us grace as we seek to show grace to those we feel have wronged us. Save us from the worst that is within us and within this world. For the kingdom, the power, and the glory are yours, now and forever. Amen.
Amen. Now, the notices. 6 weeks, 5 weeks till Greenbelt. So, see you there. I know Nigel is going to be there. I'm going to be there certainly for the metal evening night ritual when we do that. Hopefully, it would be good to be there for Goth Eucharist as well. But a chance to meet up and hang out in the Hope and Anchor tent. If you were at Silverstone, you might have seen some of the Hope and Anchor tents. I think they ended up growing their presence at the request of the organisers throughout the Silverstone weekend. So, woo! And if you're at Durham Miners Gala, you will have seen them there. Thank you, Rachel. Yeah, absolutely. I'm just thinking of those who are grieving, thinking of a few people. Thank you. And those for whom this time of year, predicates, is that a word in this context? Or is beginning of a transition that, might some of us, change. Is either woo or maybe a bit of both. But just acknowledging all that this time of year means and can be for people. Thank you. So see you at Greenbelt, if not before. I'll see you next week here. So we're not having an in-person gathering in August. We'll see people at Greenbelt if you are there. And we shall recommence our Saturday, I think, certainly in September. And we may be going to a different venue. Yes. So, and then it won't be long before that until it's October, which is when we'll be at Whitby Goth Fest. Whitby Goth weekend, and then November, which we'll be in Aston, All Saints Aston, sort of in Rotherham, just outside Rotherham, for an evening of loud lament. So lots of things coming up. Please do find us on facebook.com/Mental Methodist, or on YouTube, where you probably have because you're watching it on those things, at Metal Methodist, on Twitter at Metal_Methodist, and on TikTok as well. For which we salute Kate, because the road crew knows how to do it. I know how to do it. I once got my children to they wanted me to do Snapchat and put those weird filters on your face that like make you look stupid, but I didn't know where to press or how to press. I've reached my I'm now obsolete in terms of technology, but if you're on there, great, do find us, say hello, and if any of this is helpful, and you happen to have a spare couple of quid and you want to buy St Hilda of Whitby a cup of tea, as long as it's from Yorkshire, which is just like normal tea but better because it is from Yorkshire, then we would be most appreciative of that, and she'll be drinking those at Whitby Goth weekend. We'll join her for out in the area of the Abbey in St Mary's Graveyard, about 1 minute to midnight or 2 minutes to midnight on Halloween. So if any of this is helpful or makes any sense and you want to support it, you can do so at Ko-fi, and that's going across there now. You're supposed to say hype, like it. Oh, I know what that means. Subscribe, I can do that. Hype it. What? And stuff that's on my feed that people have hyped, I'm like, why? Which is probably what everybody thinks watching this now, going, why? He's got a demon. I'm not the Messiah. I'm a very naughty boy, whereas Jesus was. Anyway, okay, right. Sway with me, metal couplet. Sway. Sway it, don't spray it. Sway with me, metal complaint. Good night. Going on? Where's the sway? Oh wait, sorry, massage. Patrick on YouTube. Hope you're okay, my friend. Hope Bristol is treating you well. And cheers, Rachel. No. I don't know, it might get the views up, right? It's like, man, he totally died on that stream. No, literally, sorry. That happened to Tommy Cooper, didn't it? He of Spoon Jar, Jar Spoon. Spoon Jar, Jar Spoon. Spoon Jar, Jar Spoon, Spoon Jar. Fame. People thought it was part of the act, but he had actually kind of killed over. I know. Right, I found it. You ready? Sway with me, metal compling. Sway with me, metal compling. You too. Cheers, Peaky. I'm just going to press it now. Press. So I forgot to press the end stream button, so I shall do that now. It randomly takes different amounts of time for it to kick in, so I shall strike pose, like it's already happened, and then it will seamlessly disappear. Oh, except I've got to press something.